Hey, hey, are you an adult English language learner? Do you sometimes feel like saying, hell yeah, let's learn some English? If so, you're in the right place because the name of this podcast is EF'nL. Hell yeah, where we don't shy away from controversial topics and we upload once a week. If you want to learn how to speak English like your friends, native speakers like me, Mr. Don, come on and join me for the next 25 minutes. Let's learn some English. In this segment, episode 8, got some great stuff for you, and that includes a look at an iconic California rock band, um, a movie with the biggest car chase and crash scene ever filmed, and as always, you're going to learn lots of new vocabulary. So if that appeals to you, you're in the right place. Let's get started. All right, this is the segment I like to call Chit Chat, where you and I just have a little chat. You can answer my questions either out loud or keep it in your head. It's up to you. This week's topic is tourism. I choose that because lately I've seen a lot of negative headlines about foreign tourists in different Asian countries causing mayhem, um, doing all sorts of illegal or immoral or crazy shit. All right, have you seen these headlines? What do you think about them? Is this happening in your country? Are there foreign tourists who are just misbehaving? If so, what do you think should be done about them? Should they be sent to jail, given a fine, um, not allowed to re-enter your country? If so, for how long? All right. Um, Digital nomads, that's another related topic. There are so many people who work, um, online, and they want to live in cheap countries, a lot of which have a nice beach. So I get it. Do you think countries should have digital nomad visas? Some have, some do, some used to have, and now they've gotten rid of them. What do you think about digital nomads in general? I mean, are they a positive thing for the local economy? Should they be allowed to just hang out in a country that isn't their own? Or, I don't know, do you favor a stricter policy towards those sorts of remote workers and digital nomads? What do you think of tourism in general? I mean, do you favor it? Do you dislike it? Do you hate it? Do you think it depends? Um, in my lifetime, and I'm not young, I've seen a lot of changes in tourism, and I don't think they're for the better. I gotta be honest with you. So I'm a little bit pessimistic about the whole tourism industry. Um, have you seen the negative effects of tourism on any particular place? Maybe your country or city. I mean, do you live in a city that's a tourism city? Uh, or a country that's based on tourism, that depends on tourism for its economy? Um, I've seen one of my favorite cities, Jogja in central Java. I used to love to go there as a tourist. I lived there for many years as well. And yeah, now there are so many tourists from all over the world going there. Um, it's not as friendly as it used to be. There are a lot of brand new big hotels, fancy hotels, but the former charm of the place has largely disappeared. Have you experienced something similar? Are there any places that you used to like to go as a tourist, but because of so many tourists, you don't go there anymore? Um, how does a community actually carry out sustainable tourism? All right. What are your ideas on that? And what do you think about airlines? That's another related topic. Um, Airline travel, has it gotten worse in your lifetime? If so, how? Um, all right. These are some of the many related questions I could ask about tourism. Why don't you go ahead and think of a few questions of your own that you'd like to ask your English speaking friends about tourism? And that is chit chat. All right, this week's freaking fun phrase is see the light. And in the movie segment, you're going to see hopefully a church scene where one of the Blues Brothers, John Belushi, he literally sees a light descending from heaven. And what that means is he also suddenly knows what they need to do. He has a sudden spark of inspiration. Knowledge suddenly comes to him. And so to see the light means you suddenly have a great idea, like a light bulb goes off in your head. Or it can also often mean that you change your thinking or the way that you act drastically and suddenly. And, you know, that has religious context. It comes from the Bible. And Saul or Paul, he saw the light on the road to Damascus. Anyway, um, another way to say this, and it's popular in the military, is to have an attitude adjustment. So to undergo an attitude adjustment, yeah, you suddenly change the way you think or act about something in a more positive manner or way. My brother-in-law likes to say that somebody had a come to Jesus moment. Uh, Same thing. These are all kind of fun ways of saying the same thing. That they changed their attitude suddenly about something. There's also the phrase "see the light at the end of the tunnel." I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Um, so metaphorically, you've been oh, having a hard time and just struggling, but you keep continuing on and on. You persevere. You keep putting in the hard work and effort. And finally, you can see a ray of hope. You see some hope. You feel like the journey's almost through, and now I think it's all going to come out okay. I can see that light after a long, dark tunnel. If you have a sudden inspiration or great idea, a lot of times people will say, it just dawned on me. And of course, dawn is the time of day when the sun rises. Okay. So that is the freaking fun phrase of the week. All right. This week's spotlight on music. I want to look at the band Red Hot Chili Peppers, a very iconic California band. And they got their start, as you can see here, in the 80s in LA. So let's take a look at some of their albums. Californication was huge. Blood Sugar Sex Magic really kicked their career off. Stadium Arcadium was really good in 2006. That's a lot later. Now, their most recent double, they actually released 2 albums in a single year, and that was a few years ago. Unlimited Love and Return of the Dream Canteen, both in 2022, and they were both really good. One of my favorites is By the Way, and that's just because it has personal memories for me. In 2003, end of 2003, I was living in northern Thailand, and I actually bought a copyright violated, cheap copy, double disc of By the Way in Burma across the border. And it had some songs on it that weren't on the original here. It had, anyway, a bunch of different stuff, but I loved that. And I listened to it over and over and over. All right, enough of my tales. If I want to play you a couple songs, I want to say a couple things. First of all, yeah, their music is really good for having that funky sound. Boom, 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 boom. And of course the bass comes out, and their bassist is one of the best in the world, I'd say, or among rock bands. If you are a bass player, then definitely you should listen to this band and kind of follow along. The other thing is that their lyrics, very interestingly, are sometimes obscure, difficult to decipher. They're kind of personal. Sometimes they have a double meaning. Sometimes they don't really have much of a meaning whatsoever. But anyway, sometimes they seem nonsensical because they are. But the first video I'm going to play you, if YouTube doesn't raise red flags and prevent me from doing so, is actually The Adventures of Rain Dance Maggie, which, it seems to be just a sudden impromptu concert on the top of a building, kind of like the Beatles did way back when. If you look behind the scenes and actually look at the documentary you can find on YouTube about this, maybe not so great. Unfortunately, I wanted it to be a great story. It wasn't necessarily, but anyway, they filmed this, live on top of a building, and it has a double meaning. So this song, and it's kind of a dirty, kind of nasty lyrics here going on. I love it, because if you just listen to it, you have no idea. It seems innocent enough, but no, not in reality. The second video I'm going to play you is Other Side. And anyway, let's look at those. So here we go.
Lipstick, junkie, debunked, all in one. She came back wearing a smile, looking like someone drugged me that wanted to unplug me. No one here is on trial. It's just a turn around and we go. Oh, well, and we go. Tick tock, I want to rock you like the 80s.
All right, you can see the scenes of Southern California with the Pacific Ocean there. And I've heard several people who've seen them live in concert, and kind of a mixed bag. I think sometimes they've been really good, and then other times people say, oh, they suck in concert. They're definitely a good studio band, though. So I would say that. Okay, let's take a look at the other video I want to show you, which is Other Side.
it's been. Slitting my throat, it's all I am. I heard your voice through a photograph. I thought that I've been brought up the path. Once you know, you can never go back.
All right. And I have actually sung that song a few times. It's been a good many years now, but a couple times with a Thai band, and I think once with a Filipino band on stage. Great song. Okay, so check out the Red Hot Chili Peppers if you don't know who they are. And if you're an old fan, you haven't listened to them in a while, give them another listen. And that is the Spotlight on Music segment. Enjoy. This week's book, Beg, Buy, Borrow, this book or Steal This Story segment is about Nancy Drew mysteries. Now, and where to begin with this? So first off, full disclosure, why did I choose this? You might be saying, it doesn't seem like the kind of book that you would read. Actually, I read a lot of these along with their companion male series, which is called The Hardy Boys. So Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew Mysteries, kind of, they were separate but the same. They were written by some of the same authors, conceived by the same person, I believe. And growing up, these were very popular. They were read, I mean, starting in grade school, I think, and then pretty much through until high school. They were really popular among all sorts of young people. And the original series, you can see on my screen, I did some homework here, was actually written back in the 1930s. My goodness. They updated those in the 60s, 163 total books. Now, I was watching the other day an episode of Homicide Hunter and then on YouTube, and then I came across the 70s series Hardy Boys Nancy Drew Mysteries, which I'll just show you. There we go. You can look this up. Now, these were all standalone. They were not based on any of the books. Okay, so that's the first thing. But you know, man, some hot chicks. All the different. They had a couple different actresses play Nancy Drew on these, and some of these were joint mysteries where the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew and her friends were together. Most of them were still separate. Anyway, you can check that out, but they aren't directly linked to the books. Now, as far as the books are concerned, let's get back to it. So some of the favorites, and these are all titles that I remember. Everyone says you should just start with the first one, The Secret of the Old Clock. Okay. The ones that were updated were with a yellow spine. Anyway, the ones in yellow were the more updated originals. And then you had lots of spin-offs, including a more recent TV series, I believe, which I didn't care for. But you have Nancy Drew Girl Detective. These were written in the first person, okay, more informal style of writing, 2004 to 12. There were 47 of them. I think the best one is probably Race Against Time. So that would be my recommendation if you want something more modern. If you want the original series, go ahead and start with one of these. Number 1, The Secret of the Old Clock, or number 9, Sign of the Twisted Candles. Okay, that's great. You then later had Nancy Drew graphic novels or comics. They were in a manga style. There were 21 of those, as you can see, 2005 to 10. Then after that, there was Nancy Drew and the Clue Crew by Paper Cuts, done in an American comic style, only 3 books. You had a super mystery series, which combined Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew together, 36 of those, okay, in the 90s. And then finally, you had a couple of other Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys comics. more recently. Great thing about these, and one of the reasons I chose this for the book segment, is that these are written for young adults. And so the English is simpler. It's easier to read. The vocabulary, is not as difficult. It's meant for native English speakers who, are still in school. And so whether you are an adult EFL learner whose English is not at a really high advanced level, or if you have kids, some of your kids might be studying English and, in junior high school, middle school, when they would really, I think, love this series as well. So that's why I chose that. All right, that is the book segment for this week. Nancy Drew. All right, this week's Movie Mayhem segment is on the classic Blues Brothers. I don't know if you've heard of them. Probably depends on your age. But this film has got it all, and it's got lots of mayhem, to be sure. At the time, it set the record, I believe, for the biggest car crash, a car chase and crash scene. I don't know how many cars they destroyed. I'll show you a segment of that, hopefully, if YouTube lets me, in just a minute. But here you can see some of the classic blues tunes that are featured in the movie. It's not a musical, but it does have lots of blues music in it. And that's one reason I love the film, along with the fact it's hilarious. It's a comedy. And you can see some of the cameos by some of the different musicians. Okay, Aretha, James Brown, Ray Charles plays the music shop owner, Cab Calloway, John Lee Hooker, a great scene on Chicago Street where he's playing as a street musician, his classic song, a boom, 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 a how, 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 hey! And you can see some of the other cameos here. But anyway, hopefully, let me just play you some of the highlights of the film. Let's start with the car crash.
Want to hand me the mic? Thanks a lot. Hi, this is car.
Famous actor John Candy.
What number are we? 55. Car 55. We're in a truck.
Now that's just a few cars. It gets crazier from there. It literally includes hundreds and hundreds of police cars that are just smashed up. All right.
Signal 1079er still engaged. Vehicle traveling southbound approaching Chicago city limits. Commander advises will contact Chicago precincts for local intercept. Maintain pursuit. Use of unnecessary violence in the apprehension of the Blues Brothers has been approved.
All right, I'm going to stop it there. All right, let's show another couple scenes, hopefully. This is Aretha Franklin, her famous song,
a holy
Respect.
thing. You see, we're on a mission from God.
Don't you blaspheme in here. Don't you blaspheme in here.
Now, this is my land, this is my restaurant. You two are going to just walk right out that door without your dry white toast, without your 4 fried chickens, and without Mad Guitar Murphy.
Now, you listen to me. I love you, but I'm the man and you're the woman, and I'll make the decision concerning my life.
You better think about what you're saying. You better think about the consequences of your actions.
Oh, shut up, woman.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me. Yeah, think. Let your mind go, let yourself be free. Let's go back, let's go way on the back way. I didn't even know you couldn't have been too much more than 10. I ain't no psychiatrist, I ain't no doctor with degrees. It don't take too much IQ to see what you're doing to me. You better think about what you're trying to do to me. I don't think. Let your mind go, let yourself be free. Oh, freedom.
All right, so the guitar player there, their buddy that they're trying to recruit into the band on a mission from God to get the band back together is Mad Dog Murphy, and he's a famous guitarist. And then you've also got Donald Duck. Dunn, is it? The saxophonist, he's also a famous musician. All right. Man, Aretha's voice is so good. Let's just look at one more iconic scene. Again, these are only a few. There are so many funny scenes in this movie. And this is one classic where what kind of music? We got both kinds of country. All right, let me just play it.
Hey, Bob, this is the band.
All right.
What kind of music do you usually have here?
Oh, we got both kinds. We got country and western.
Jake, are you sure this is the place?
Yeah, sure, this is the place.
All right, we got both kinds, country and western. What a great quote. Okay, please check this movie out. It's got it all. There was a remake done. Sorry, not a remake. A part 2, Blues Brothers 2000, which you can also find on YouTube. Again, it had a lot of cameo appearances by great blues artists, some more modern ones, and yeah, that was also a really good movie. It wasn't as good as the original, so check out the original first. And that is the Movie Mayhem segment. All right, this week's wackety whacked word is disaster. Now, it doesn't sound that whacked. It's really not. But I like some of the synonyms here, which are a little bit more whacked. So you can have a couple of different kinds of disaster. You can have, of course, a natural disaster. What are those in English? Yeah. A hurricane, typhoon, a tornado, an earthquake, tsunami, all of that sort of thing. And then man-made disasters, which, yeah, we make ourselves. And a lot of people, when that happens, is like, what a freaking disaster. And they're usually talking about something like a meeting that didn't go as planned, or a conference or workshop or some kind of event that they hoped would go well, and it didn't. And anyway, some of the synonyms that are a little bit more wacky are shit show. What a complete shit show this is. That's not very nice. It's kind of a little bit vulgar. Of course, it has the word shit in it, which we've already explored in the past on this on this show, on this podcast. The British version would be a cock up. What a complete cock up. And then Americans sometimes say circle jerk. In a recent podcast I saw online, a comedian was describing, the act of students using AI to cheat, and then teachers using AI to grade their cheating and everything, to just be a complete circle jerk. So there's kind of a sense of, it's kind of everybody involved. It's just sitting around in a circle. And anyway, it's not a pleasant image, but it's the equivalent of cock up, I suppose. And then one that was popular when I was younger, I think it's fallen out of use, I don't hear it anymore, is a goat rope. That's kind of funny. That's taken from rodeos, but instead of roping cattle or cows like they're supposed to, there were actually events where the kids would rope goats. What a goat rope this is. Anyway, those are all somewhat funny phrases for the word disaster, or actually compound nouns for the word disaster in English, and that is our wackety whacked word of the week. All right, that does it for this week's episode of EF'nL. Hell yeah! I hope you enjoyed my little show, and if you did, I hope to see you next week. Tell a friend, a classmate, a colleague, and in the meantime, take care. All right, peace out.